Fuck all that. I can only go on one. And you know, nah, she knew a lot of shit, though. Like, she knew a lot of wild shit, though. All right, you man, you can see, man, that was the craziest episode of my life. You got two. I just want you to get this one. Not safe. Hold me about like a man and say, just like your bitch. Not safe. So, like, when you look, you like, that's things like this, and you see, and then you fuck with it, no line. What you gonna say? My bitch ain't safe. It's a wrap. No, she's not safe. No, she's not safe. Fuck all that.
Diamond.
Yeah. Go, go, go. You finna shoot up the car.
Shoot up the car.
Yeah, go.
What the fuck? What is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck was that?
He just shot at the car.
For what?
Let me call the police.
Man, fuck this shit.
Let me call the police, Cuddy.
This is how bold abductors are getting. This is a 14-year-old girl leaving her high school, walking home, running for her life. Because this guy is going to get out of that car and try to kidnap her. She was able to call her mom and tell her mom that someone was chasing her. This is in broad daylight. Broad daylight. He's coming out the passenger seat. So that means somebody's driving him around, knowing what he's doing, and aiding and abetting him, helping him. That girl was scared for her life. Her mom said, hang up, let me call the police. And she ran. Look at him. He's chasing her in broad daylight. And we be so busy driving, people probably ain't even paying no attention. Look at that. This is scary. Wow. This is how bold.
She was shot 7 times on the front porch of her home, and the person responsible has still not been arrested. At 1:54 a.m. on January 28th, Nevaeh Jones was standing on the front porch of her house in Wynne, Arkansas, when someone began shooting at her. Directly before this, Nevaeh had just arrived back at her house after making a quick trip to Harrisburg to pick up pizza for her and her mom. She sat in her car and listened to a song that was playing for a couple of minutes, gathered her stuff, and then went to go unlock the door to her house, which is what you saw in that clip. She said in a post that she put up about this on Facebook that at first she didn't even realize that she was being shot at. She thought maybe a branch had fallen or something until she turned around and saw what was going on. And then her instinct told her to fall to the ground and curl up in a little ball to protect herself. The man who was shooting at her then came up onto the porch and fired 15 more rounds, 7 of which struck Nevaeh in the head and legs. After this, he ran off into the night, and Nevaeh laid there and decided that it might be okay to try and get her mom's attention at that point in time, the whole time being mindful that he could come back at any second and finish off what he started, or go after her family as well. Now, when police and EMS arrived, Nevaeh was in really bad shape, but she didn't lose consciousness the entire time, and she was transported to a trauma center where they discovered that she had been struck 7 times. She lost her eye, she had to have reconstructive surgery on her knee and her femur, and she's got life-altering injuries. Now, if you live in Arkansas like I do and you're wondering why you haven't heard about this, that's because there is 0 news coverage about it. Well, I say 0. Fox 33 out of Memphis has 2 articles up about it. The Arkansas Justice Project, however, has covered this diligently. If you don't follow them over on Facebook, I absolutely suggest that you do. And then Nevaeh and her family have been sharing about this online. But one thing that you won't see is posts from law enforcement asking for possible Ring doorbell footage, or maybe eyewitnesses that saw something off on that night. That's not anywhere to be found. They've not put out any sort of sketch about what this man looks like, so he very well could be somebody that you're sitting next to in a restaurant or standing next to in line at Walmart. And I cannot even begin to imagine how nerve-wracking that must be for Nevaeh and her family, knowing that the person who tried to rob her bright future from her is still just wandering around out there in her community.
Sitting here fighting the grandmother.
Something to do with the murder of a woman.
Okay, her body was later found stuffed inside a duffel bag inside a Kips Bay apartment. Fox 5's Jessica Formosa was live in Kips Bay with the day's developments. Jess.
Steve, Natasha, police know exactly who they're looking for, and that's all thanks to the cameras at this building who captured the squatters coming in and then fleeing after beating the woman to death. Now, we spoke to the super of this building who tells us that those squatters have been here for at least 3 days. Tonight, there's a manhunt for 2 squatters who police say murdered a woman inside an apartment in Kips Bay.
No, it came as a complete shock and surprise,
Last Tuesday, 52-year-old Nadia Vitale walked into 206 East 31st Street. The super of the building says surveillance video shows her getting on the elevator to the 19th floor, but never came down. By Thursday, her family and friends were looking for her.
A friend called and said that they hadn't heard from her in a couple of days, and so if I could go up and check. So I went up.
Gene Pompey says he went inside the apartment. All he found was a dog. Shortly after, the victim's son arrived looking for his mother. Police were called, and that's when the gruesome discovery was made. In a closet, they found a duffel bag. Inside, Vitale's lifeless body. The NYPD says she was beaten to death. According to police, a man and a woman who they are calling squatters had been staying in the apartment for days. They say Vitale walked in on the pair, and that's when things got violent, killing the mother and then fleeing in her SUV.
They went up to the 19th floor. It's like they knew where they were going because they didn't try any other apartment, but went straight up to 19.
These cameras in the building captured the suspects coming in on Sunday and then leaving Tuesday afternoon. The same day Vitale came in. Police believe the pair is in Pennsylvania. They fled across the George Washington Bridge through New Jersey to Pennsylvania, where they ultimately crashed the victim's car. However, they haven't been caught.
So developing tonight, a Driftwood Middle School teacher is at the center of a safety alert. She may be smiling in her mugshot now, but she's facing a long list of charges after police say she had inappropriate contact with a student.
And local 10's Terrell Fournay joining us live now from the jail in Pompano Beach, where that suspect is now being held. Terrell.
Yeah, the North Broward Bureau is where that teacher was booked on some very serious charges. I just had a chance to read through her arrest report, and it says that the incident happened on school grounds. Felicia Smith may have been smiling in her booking photo, but the accusations against her in her role as a teacher at Driftwood Middle School in Hollywood are no laughing matter.
The teacher did bring up that originally, since the beginning of the year, there was a maternal relationship with the student, and then she did admit to kissing the student.
Police say the female teenage middle school victim attends the very same school where the 38-year-old works as a teacher. A police report says a school resource officer called detectives after he was informed that a teacher kissed the juvenile on the cheek to the point where a hickey, known to be a contusion of the skin caused by sucking on the skin, was left and clearly visible. But things only escalated to the attention of police because of the alert persistence from the girl's relatives.
The family members noticed that there was something that didn't sit right with them. They noticed there were markings on the student, and they continued to ask questions.
Initially, we're told the girl lied about the marks, saying it was from a football that hit her neck. Cops say she eventually changed her story to reveal the inappropriate relationship that also involved vulgar acts.
She may not enter any school campus.
Smith was a no-show for bond court today, but faces 2 criminal counts of lewd and lascivious molestation and lewd and lascivious battery.
In an apartment on the Grand Concourse in Mott.
New details in the death of a 70-year-old woman whose body was found inside a garbage bag in a Bronx apartment.
Police say it appears the woman was visiting from out of state and staying with family in an apartment on the Grand Concourse in Mott Haven. Detectives are now questioning the 4 people she'd been staying with.
Here's Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis.
Police were back at the gleaming new building today, and even though an officer had to wait to be let in, residents say there is one feature sorely lacking: security.
You got people coming from shelters in here. I don't know who they screening or what. So I don't know. I see strange people in and out of here. They don't have security in here.
On Thursday, police discovered a 70-year-old woman dead in an apartment on the 9th floor. Her body had been placed inside of a black plastic garbage bag. An upstairs resident said she called 911 after hearing a commotion coming from below.
The way she was screaming was like something was wrong, like someone was injured or dying, so I felt like I had to, call police.
When I heard the commotion out here yesterday with the police and everything, it was crazy.
The woman had an address in Georgia, but had been staying with relatives in the high-rise on the Grand Concourse. The 14-story building opened last fall, part of a growing skyline in the South Bronx. The building chock full of amenities like a gym and yoga studio. It consists of a mix of market-rate apartments and units set aside for low-income residents.
Very surprising that, to be a person to be stuck inside a garbage bag like that. It sounds like something really crazy just went on.
A 54-year-old female relative has been charged with concealment of a human corpse, but an autopsy will reveal the cause of death and determine whether or not additional charges will be filed.
Police say the 2 boys were struck by a driver while they were walking with their mom at a crosswalk. Let's get the latest now from Fox 5's Linda Schmidt, who's live in East Elmhurst. Linda.
Yeah, hi there, Stephen, Natasha. An absolute tragedy today. It was broad daylight, 4:15 in the afternoon. The mother and her 2 young sons crossing at this crosswalk right here behind me. And if you can take a look over my shoulder, you can see there are some candles there now. Neighbors here, they are devastated by this, and they are now setting up a memorial. And as of just a few moments ago, police charging the driver of the pickup truck. He is facing multiple charges, including criminally negligent homicide and speeding. From her apartment window, Jasmine Ortiz heard her friends' painful screams. They killed my boy. They killed my boy.
And I see from my window, I see the boys in the street.
An 8-year-old in the crosswalk dead. His 10-year-old brother in stable condition with an injury to his wrist. So you came outside and you helped with the 10-year-old.
Yeah, I take the big boys, I keep it, and I tell, come over here, sit over here.
Because of this poor decision, a family trying to enjoy a beautiful day will never be the same.
It was about 4:15 this afternoon. The NYPD saying a 52-year-old man was driving this Nissan Titan pickup truck on 31st Avenue in East Elmhurst, Queens, and he made a left turn onto 100th Street. A 37-year-old mother and her 2 young sons were crossing the sidewalk with the right-of-way.
Made the turn quickly, too quickly, and that's when, unfortunately, when he hit them in the crosswalk.
The driver narrowly missing the mother. Police saying that he was making a quick turn in order to beat oncoming traffic. He remained on the scene and is now in police custody.
He was actually the first 911 caller. But unfortunately, again, just a hasty decision that was made way too quickly, and unfortunately, that's the reason why we're here.
First at 5, a shocker on the subway. A group of people attacked by a stranger with fire. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gilma Avalos.
I'm Adam Cooperstein. Tonight, police are looking for that man you just saw holding 2 cans of fire on the subway platform. They say he lit the flammable liquid and then threw the cans at a group of strangers. The attack happened at the 28th Street stop in Chelsea along the 1 line, and police say that group was just standing on the platform when 2 flaming cans came flying their way. Now, thankfully, no one was hurt, but that guy who did it, he is still on the loose. And News 4's Checky Beckford is live in Chelsea, and here we're looking at, Checky, another random attack on the subway.
Another random attack indeed, Adam. And, you know, we've seen some crazy things in the subway, but this one is right up there. Can you imagine standing down here and seeing some guy with fire in his hands and then him throwing it at you? Luckily, the cameras right here behind me captured it happen. Let's take a look at that video again, showing that man basically walking up to the turnstiles with the 2 canisters of fire in his hand. And police say after that video stops, he actually threw it at a group of people who were standing on the other side. Police say that was unprovoked, that those people had not done anything to the man, but for some reason he targeted them. That fortunately, though, no one was hurt or injured as a result of this. And again, that guy got away. Take a listen to what riders here had to say when we showed him the video.
It's crazy. You know, I don't even know what to say. You can't just do this to kill people like that. No. It's just one random, that's it.
And you could see